What if I told you Cristiano Ronaldo was written off before this match even kicked off? Doubts everywhere, pressure mounting, defenders lining up to stop him, and Al-Nassr desperately needing a hero. One missed moment could have changed everything, but instead something ruthless happened. A brace, a statement, and a reminder the world wasn't ready for. Stay right here because the real story behind those goals is where it gets shocking. We'll explain everything in this video step by step. Don't skip it. The stadium is buzzing, the pressure is rising, and Al-Nassr are searching for answers. Chances come and go, defenders are throwing their bodies on the line, and for a moment it feels like the game is slipping away. But then, you see him standing tall, calm, focused, like a predator waiting for the perfect second to strike. Boom! Ronaldo opens his account and the crowd erupts. You can almost feel the release of tension. One goal, but that hunger in his eyes, that says everything. He's not here to stop at one. As the minutes tick on, the game turns into a battle. Al-Nassr fight, the opponents push back and the noise inside the stadium grows louder with every pass. Defenders think they've figured him out, they think they've closed the door. Big mistake. Suddenly the ball moves quickly, the defence hesitates for half a second, and that's all Cristiano Ronaldo needs. A slick touch, a flash of brilliance, pure instinct taking over. He glides past, stays ice cold, and finishes with absolute class. Brace completed, net shaking, crowd exploding, hands in the air, Ronaldo again, and that celebration, not wild, not rushed, just that familiar look that says, this is what I do. Years go by, leagues change, critics talk, but moments like this remind everyone why his name never leaves the conversation. This isn't just about two goals, it's about resilience. It's about answering doubts with actions. It's about a player who refuses to fade quietly, who thrives when the pressure is highest, and who still delivers when his team needs him most. The opening goal doesn't arrive easily, and that's what makes it so powerful. For long stretches, Al-Nassr are pushing forward with urgency but not clarity, moving the ball side to side, probing, testing, knocking, only to be turned away again and again. Every missed chance adds weight to the atmosphere. Every blocked shot fuels the frustration in the stands. The opposition are compact, disciplined, stubborn, throwing numbers behind the ball and daring Al-Nassr to find something special. You can sense the tension growing with every second that passes without a breakthrough. The kind of tension that starts creeping into players' decisions, into touches that become rushed and passes that lose precision. This is the moment where games either slip away or are seized by those who thrive under pressure. Cristiano Ronaldo feels that moment before anyone else. His movement becomes sharper, more deliberate, drifting into spaces defenders are desperately trying to close. He's not shouting, not waving his arms, just scanning, calculating, waiting. The ball finally comes into a dangerous area and suddenly everything slows down. Defenders hesitate, unsure whether to step or hold. The goalkeeper shifts his weight. The crowd collectively holds its breath. Ronaldo positions himself perfectly, reading the play like a chess master who already knows the outcome 3 moves ahead. One clean connection, no panic, no wasted motion, just precision meeting instinct, and the ball finds the net. The reaction is instant and explosive. The stadium erupts, not just in celebration but in relief. You can almost hear the tension snap. Players rush toward Ronaldo, the bench jumps to its feet, and the energy of the entire match flips in a heartbeat. That single goal changes everything. Confidence floods back into Al-Nassr's passes, their movement becomes freer, sharper, more aggressive. Where there was hesitation, there is now belief. Where there was pressure, there is now control. The opposition, who moments ago looked comfortable and organised, suddenly seem rattled, glancing at each other, questioning their shape, feeling the psychological blow of conceding to a player who has punished teams like this for years. For Ronaldo, the goal is more than a statistic. It's a statement carved into the rhythm of the game. Critics talk about age, about leagues, about decline, but moments like this strip those arguments bare. This is about timing, intelligence, and an unshakable mentality. He doesn't need 10 chances, he doesn't need chaos, he just needs one opening. The first goal becomes a spark that lights up the entire team, a reminder that as long as he's on the pitch, Al-Nassr are never truly out of a fight. From that point on, every touch he takes carries more authority. Defenders close him down faster, midfielders look for him earlier, and the crowd responds to his presence with every movement. The match now revolves around that breakthrough, the moment where struggle turns into momentum, doubt transforms into dominance, and a tight contest begins to tilt decisively in Al-Nassr's favour. As the match moves deeper, the pressure doesn't fade, it multiplies. The opening goal might have shifted belief, but it doesn't end the struggle. The opponents respond with urgency, pushing higher up the pitch, committing bodies forward, testing Al-Nassr's composure. The game becomes stretched, chaotic, unpredictable. Every clearance feels temporary. Every loose ball sparks a new wave of danger. You can sense that. This is no longer just a football match. It's a mental contest, a test of nerve, discipline and resilience. One mistake could undo everything that has been built. Al-Nassr begin to feel that weight. Passes that were crisp moments ago now arrive under pressure. Midfield battles turn into collisions, shoulders clash, boots flying, and the referee's whistle becomes a constant presence. The crowd shifts from celebration to anxious encouragement, urging every tackle, every interception, every run back into position. Defenders are forced into last-ditch blocks, sliding across the turf with everything on the line, while the goalkeeper stays alert, barking instructions, knowing that the margin for error is razor thin. This is the phase of the game where focus can slip, where fatigue creeps into legs and minds. Cristiano Ronaldo remains central to this storm. He's marked tighter, tracked more aggressively, with defenders clinging to him like shadows. Every time he touches the ball, there's immediate pressure, a challenge, an attempt to knock him off rhythm. Yet, even without scoring, his presence shapes everything. He drags defenders out of position, creates lanes with subtle movements, and forces the opposition to constantly adjust. You can see him dropping deeper at times, linking play, then suddenly spinning and sprinting forward, keeping everyone guessing. This is the unseen battle, the one that doesn't always make the highlight reels but defines the flow of the game. The defensive resistance from the opposition grows fiercer. They defend in numbers, compressing space, refusing to allow clean shots. Shots are blocked, crosses are intercepted, and for a stretch it feels like Al-Nassr are running into a wall. Frustration threatens to boil over. Players appeal for fouls, gestures grow sharper, and the tempo teeters on the edge of chaos. The opposition smell an opportunity, believing that if they can just survive this phase, the momentum might swing back in their favour. But this is where experience speaks louder than emotion. Al-Nassr slow the game when needed, recycle possession, draw fouls, and force the opposition to chase. Ronaldo leads by example, constantly demanding the ball, pointing, organising, encouraging. His body language refuses to show doubt. Even when moves break down, he resets instantly, already thinking about the next chance, the next run, the next mistake from the defence. The pressure continues to build, not just physically but psychologically, squeezing the opposition with the knowledge that one more lapse could be fatal. As minutes pass, the resistance begins to crack in subtle ways. A defender hesitates instead of stepping out. A midfielder tracks back a second too late. A line loses its shape just for a heartbeat. These are the moments born from sustained pressure, from being forced to defend without relief. The game hangs in a delicate balance with tension thick in the air, every attack feeling like it could tip the scale, every defensive stand feeling like a temporary escape rather than a solution. The moment arrives without warning, the kind that punishes even the smallest lapse in concentration. After all the pressure, the collisions, the mental exhaustion, the opposition finally blink. A loose touch, a half step out of line, a channel that opens for just a fraction of a second and the ball slips through like a secret. This is where great players separate themselves, where instinct overtakes planning, and Cristiano Ronaldo senses it immediately. His movement is sharp, almost sudden, peeling away from his marker with the confidence of someone who has lived for moments like this his entire career. The pass arrives with intent, skimming across the grass into space, rather than directly to feet. Ronaldo reads, hit perfectly, adjusting his stride without breaking rhythm. Defenders scramble, trying to recover, but they're already a step behind. There's no panic in his touch, no need to rush. He cushions the ball with control that feels effortless, drawing the goalkeeper into a split-second dilemma. Step out or hold the line, commit or hesitate. That hesitation becomes everything. With a slick touch, Ronaldo shifts the angle, opening the goal just enough to expose the weakness. The finish is pure composure, no power wasted, no unnecessary flair, just a clean, calculated strike that sends the ball beyond reach and into the net. Time seems to freeze for a heartbeat before the eruption. The crowd explodes, the bench erupts, and teammates sprint toward him, knowing they've just witnessed the moment that breaks the contest wide open. The brace is complete, and the scoreboard tells a story that words barely need to explain. What makes this second goal special isn't just the technique, it's the timing. It arrives at the peak of resistance, when the opposition are stretched thin both physically and mentally. It's the kind of goal that drains belief from the other side, that forces heads to drop and shoulders to sag. You can see it immediately in their body language. Defenders look at each other, hands on hips, searching for answers that no longer exist. All the hard work, all the discipline, undone in a flash of brilliance. Ronaldo's reaction is telling. There's satisfaction, but also calm. He doesn't sprint wildly, doesn't lose himself in the moment. Instead, there's that familiar expression, the one that says this outcome was inevitable. Years of pressure, expectation, and scrutiny have shaped him into a player who thrives in these moments. This is muscle memory mixed with mindset, experience fused with hunger. He knows when to accelerate, when to wait, when to strike, and this go. Al is the perfect example of that mastery. For Al-Nassr, the second goal feels like a release. The passes become bolder, the movement more fluid, the confidence undeniable. The crowd senses it too, their noise shifting from nervous energy to triumphant belief. The game no longer feels balanced, it feels controlled. And at the heart of it all stands Cristiano Ronaldo, having once again turned a tense battle into a showcase of precision and authority, reminding everyone that even in the most demanding moments, he remains lethal, decisive, and relentlessly focused on the goal. The meaning of the brace stretches far beyond the numbers on the scoreboard. This isn't just about 2 goals in a single match. It's about what those goals represent in the wider story of Cristiano Ronaldo's journey. Every touch, every sprint, every decisive moment carries the weight of expectation that follows him everywhere he plays. There are always voices questioning motivation, intensity, relevance, asking whether the fire still burns as fiercely as it once did. Performances like this don't respond with words, they respond with authority, with actions that silence doubt and shift the narrative back where it belongs. From the first minute, Ronaldo's leadership is visible, not through shouting or theatrics, but through example. He presses when needed, tracks back when the situation demands it, and constantly positions himself where the game can be influenced. Teammates feed off that presence. Younger players look for him instinctively, trusting his movement, his timing, his decision-making. In difficult moments when pressure builds and confidence wavers, they glance toward him, and that alone steadies the tempo. Leadership like this doesn't come from a captain's armband. It comes from years of delivering when it matters most. The resilience behind the brace is just as important as the goals tee themselves. The game tests patience, forces adaptation, demands physical and mental sharpness. Defenders are aggressive, space is limited, and every run is contested. Ronaldo absorbs that pressure without retreating from responsibility. He keeps making the same demanding runs, keeps asking for the ball, keeps putting himself in positions where mistakes can happen, knowing that risk is part of impact. That willingness to stay involved, even when closely marked or frustrated, is what separates elite performers from the rest. There is also a deeper message within this performance, one that resonates beyond this single match. Football evolves quickly, narratives shift overnight, and reputations are constantly re-evaluated. Yet certain qualities remain timeless. Intelligence, discipline, hunger, and belief do not age the same way speed or physical power might. Ronaldo's game reflects that evolution. He chooses moments more carefully, relies on positioning rather than constant explosive movement, and finishes with efficiency instead of excess. This adaptation is not a compromise, it is mastery shaped by experience. The brace reinforces his influence on Al-Nassr's identity. The team doesn't just play with him, it plays through him. His presence shapes how opponents defend, how space opens up, and how pressure is applied. Even when he isn't touching the ball, his positioning dictates decisions. This gravitational pull creates opportunities for others, lifts the collective level, and transforms individual moments into team advantage. It's a reminder that greatness isn't always loud, but it is always felt. As the match unfolds after the second goal, the tone is unmistakable. Control replaces chaos, confidence replaces doubt, and belief flows through every pass and movement. The brace becomes a symbol of continuity, of a player who refuses to drift into the background of the game's future. It stands as evidence that ambition doesn't fade quietly, that standards remain uncompromising, and that the desire to compete, to lead, and to decide outcomes still burns fiercely within Cristiano Ronaldo. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe.